Hello everyone. If you're not new to the channel, then you will know I have been sharing stuff to do with the Qlippoth. It's a path working that I have recently gone through, and I'm sharing my experience and hints and tips and answering questions that you guys have asked me about it. Because especially with the Qlippoth, there is a lot of fear mongering and a lot of edgelord stuff to do with it. And while that's got its time and place, it's not at all like that really when you get down to it. So this question came to me recently, and that is, well, it wasn't formed in the form of a proper question. It was kind of like, I didn't know how to take it, but the gist of it is that you have to do black magic to work through the Qlippoth, essentially. Now, is there any truth in that? Well, let me answer it for you. Let's get into it. So, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Sarah, that Divination Witch. This channel is a witchy community and safe space, so everyone is welcome. We don't judge. If you want to join, hit subscribe. It's free. You may as well. And if you want to support me or the channel, all of my links are below. I would be grateful if you could check it out. I do readings, I've got Patreon, and I've taught a lot on there about tarot, Hecate, magic. We're going through our own path working on there too. All sorts happening. I would be grateful if you could take a look. Thank you. To explain this, first let me just answer. Do you have to do black magic? No, you don't. But there's a few caveats to this and a few blooming things that I would like to dissect with that loaded question. So, first and foremost, the Qlippoth. What the heck is it? If you don't know, if you've not seen any of my other videos or heard of this, let me try and explain it in a nutshell as quick as I can. So, there is a practice called Cabala. There are two versions of Cabala as well, Jewish mysticism and Jewish Cabala, which is heavily linked with the Jewish religion. And then there is Hermetic Cabala, which is linked with the Hermetic principles. There is other versions of Cabala too. I know I said about two, but those are the two main ones. I believe there's a Christian Cabala, but that's not something I'm interested in. And the Cabala itself is the tree of life. And what the tree of life is a blueprint of the universe. So you have a diagram that you kind of work through psychologically, magically, ritualistically, all these different things. You work through each sphere. Each sphere is represented by a planet in the solar system. So it's like planetary energy, planetary magic, akin to astrology in a way, in that regard. You work through different things. It's like deep shadow work to become the best version of yourself you can be at the end. That's essentially, in a nutshell, the very briefest version I can give you. And it's the tree of life. But with the tree of life comes the tree of death, which is the Qlippoth. Sephiroth is the tree of life, Qlippoth is the tree of death. Tree of death was always a thing. There wasn't really a name for it other than Sitra Ara, which was a Hebrew name, essentially meaning the dark side, shadow side. Qlippoth came around with Aleister Crowley and then the people after him that delved more into it. And because in traditional Jewish Cabala, each sphere is ruled over by an angel, they did the opposite. Each sphere is ruled over by a demon. But it's not that simple. Tree of life, tree of death. Either tree that you go through, your journey, number one, will be personal to you. Number two, it is not limited to angels and demons. It is the archetypal energy of the spheres. I have had different deities in my experience come to me that have absolutely nothing to do with Judaism or Abrahamic religions at all. I have had spirits come to me of people that were once alive. I've had legendary figures. Like, everyone's journey is going to be different, but when you look up these diagrams, they are the traditional, let's say, traditional archetypes of each sphere, okay? So you work through them all, either side, to become the best version of you that you can be. It's also linked with the tarot system. Tarot is, we should say tarot is linked with the tree of life and tree of death. But Each card, if you read tarot, you'll know, has an upright and reversed meaning, so it's kind of like that. And the symbolism of each card is kind of what you work through. So the death card is about rebirth, you know. So the death tree is stripping things away from you, things that no longer serve you, so you can be reborn, stronger, with better understanding. It's an ego death. And the tree of life is, yes, still working on yourself, but more manifestation, more positive, more bringing things in, more learning from the outside in. Again, to become a better version of yourself. Two sides of the same coin. So at time of filming, I have gone through the Qlippoth once. You can go through it more than once. These are videos for another day. It is not just a one and done thing. There's always room for improvement. But I have done the round once, okay? And let me tell you, it's changed my perception on everything. Well, when I've done this, I did it intuitively with information from a couple of books I've mentioned on the channel, but I didn't follow the book from, start to finish, word for word. I didn't do any ritual that may or may not be in the book. I didn't do certain prayers or whatever else. What I did, I was led to with my intuition. I did a lot of meditation, a lot of astral work, a lot of magic in my own way, and a lot of things manifested in my day-to-day life that were lessons I had to overcome to get to the next stage. Situations that cropped up out the blue, and it's like, oh, this is testing this thing to do with me. Okay, got to deal with this. This is something eventually I'll be sharing on the channel, and you can learn about my experience. But everyone's is going to be different, okay? Now, when I've said I've done magic in my own way, I mean, first and foremost, what is black magic even? There are people who still say black magic on the left-hand path. There are people who identify as black magician. Personally, as a Hecatean, I don't identify with black or white magic. I think the label is reductive, old-fashioned. We don't need it. That's the way I see it. But each their own. If you want to say black magic, whatever. Magic is magic. End of. Magic is magic. There's nothing that makes something black magic. There's baneful magic. There's magic that, like a hex, a curse. You can do stuff to hurt people in that regard. Did I do anything like that in the Qlippoth? Absolutely not. Do I do anything like that on a day-to-day basis? No, I don't. There's a time and place for baneful workings, and I have in retaliation to things, yes, because I'm not taking things lying down. Yeah, I have thrown back, you could say. But no, I don't just go pick fights with somebody. That's reductive, and that is not what it's about. It's about self-mastery on either side. It's about you, nothing else, nobody else. So in that regard, absolutely not. Now, some of these books, I used Thomas Carlson's book, and I think there was some rituals he suggested in there. I know there are other people who've wrote books on the market. Some are good, some not so good. Some are more edgy. And they do say, do this ritual, do this thing. Is it a requirement? No. Even the rituals themselves, it depends. Would I even class it as black magic? It depends. I mean, some people out there would say anything involving a demon is black magic. Well, what you know of as demons, they're not all demons in the Abrahamic sense. A lot of them were gods. Like Baal, for example, was a god from the same pantheon as Yahweh. They were rivals. Baal came first, actually. It's like Kronos and Zeus in Hellenic times, you could say. Yeah, they were both from the same pantheon, but one's exalted on high and one's demonized. Astarte, she was like the kind of love fertility goddess. She's Astaroth now. There are Egyptian deities that have been demonized as well. There are Semitic deities that have been it's a whole kettle of fish. I won't get into it too much, but it's not what you think. All right. That doesn't make it black magic, I have a book with angels, angel magic, called Angels of Wrath, which is all baneful work involving angels. Angels are not fluffy things like New Age love and lighters will tell you. They are not fluffy. They are bloody warriors. They can do good and bad, just like a demon. So it's not like that at all. And anyone who says otherwise needs to deal with their conditioning, because they've been brainwashed still in the mindset, the polarity of good and evil. Wah. It's not like that at all. But it's not to say it's easy, because it's not. Because it's deep self-mastery, and, you know, sometimes it takes people freaking years to go through it. I don't want to come across cocky or to toot my own horn, but I'm confident in that. I went through a lot of trials and tribulations before this, and I was ready for it in the end. Didn't want to do it at first, but yeah, I was ready for it. And so I have successfully gone through it in the time I have, which was like 6 months. And in the grand scheme of things, that's so quick, really, isn't it? Not unheard of, but normally it's a year at least or more. Now, it's not to say I won't do it again. It's not to say I won't revisit things, like I've already said. But you have to be ready to face it. You're facing your shadow. You're going through your own personal hell when it comes to the Qlippoth. Now, when it comes to the Sephiroth, I suppose it's your own personal heaven in a way, but heaven isn't a piece of cake. To attain something, hard work needs to be done. You don't just wish on a star and it bloody happens. So again, there's a lot of hard work in that too. So either side, yes, people have wrote books and books and books on it and studied it for their lifetime, and I respect those people on each side who have done that, like Dion Fortune and Oliver St. John, and you know, these wonderful people who have done that and put the information out there for us to see. You have walked so we can run. It's a lifetime of study and work about yourself as well. But no, regardless of what a book says, you do not have to do black magic, whatever that is. Absolutely not. So I hope this has answered the question. Just because something seems dark, scary, spooky, doesn't mean that it's all evil. It doesn't mean it's not going to be dark, scary, spooky. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. And I'm not saying demons are fluffy either. But neither are angels, like I've said. But it's also not nefarious. Not everyone who labels himself black magician is evil. Not everyone who labels himself a Luciferian, a Satanist, even though I am not either of those things. I will always be a Hecatean witch. But despite that, it's just a label. There's good and bad in everyone and everything. There's good and bad in the church. There's some lovely, lovely people who are Christian and lovely, lovely people who are Muslim and Jewish and whatever else. But there are also some evil bastards. You know, priests who do things to kids and things like this, for example. No. So, get that out your head. It's a load of kerfuffle nonsense. And if you ever read a book that's edgelord, because there are some edgelords out there, that says you must do this rite, this ritual, and you must do this, and it sounds all evil and bloody sacrificial, and run, because that's bullshit. Alright? I'm currently, and I might do a review about it. This is an aside. I don't know if I'll keep this in or not. I'm reading a book by Michael W. Ford, and it's really good actually. It's talking about Lilith and the Mashtu, and he has researched everything about it. Like, it's so good. But even Michael W. Ford, who has been in the left-hand path for many years, he has done a lot for us, and he's wrote a lot of books. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect either, you know. He does have some connections. I don't know if he still does, but with people that I wouldn't trust with anything. There's some people out there, anything, let's just say anything linked to become a living god, avoid like the plague. That's all I'll say. Look up ear quaking if you want to know. That's problematic to me. So that's why I haven't really done as many book reviews, but I will be doing more. I will. But that's an aside. That's a side note. All right. Be wary of things you listen to and things you read. Anyways, I hope this helped. If you liked it, hit subscribe. Check out the playlist. I'll link it at the end. Until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.